Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for tuning into another episode of the Dumpster Diaries Podcast. As always, I am Justin Allen, and I am here with Moses Wartooth. And the internet's been exploding with some new memes lately.
I will say this Olympic story is better than the last one.
So if you guys haven't heard, the Olympics this year, or this season, was a little bit of a shit show. And specifically, we're going to talk about the breakdancing in this. I didn't know breakdancing was an Olympic sport. I guess this is the first year they did it.
No idea. Yeah, never heard of that either.
It's the first and probably the last year that they'll do it, honestly. But Australia really came out swinging on this one, man. I was like, holy shit, when I saw it. I mean, the video we're about to watch speaks for itself, but oh my God, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't, I can't really picture Australians being excellent breakdancers. And I mean, this video proves me right, but.
Because I actually watched the whole thing and there was a lot of like really good dancers. I mean, you could tell they were like professionals and stuff like that, you know? But.
They had a ringer.
Yeah, but they brought this poor lady in and, the backlash she's received, oh my God, it's like biblical proportions of hate just raining down on her, you know?
Here we go, Ray Gun starting the conversation.
Her breakdancing had everyone talking for all the wrong reasons.
Is that a kangaroo reference, Ronnie?
Now breaking her silence, a week after she left fans reeling from that performance at the Paris Olympics.
I'm glad I was able to bring some joy into your lives. I didn't realize that would also open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating.
Australia's Rachel Gunn, better known as Ray Gun, didn't win any medals, but her moves launched 1,000 memes.
I'm hitting the sprinkler, or I'm rolling around on the floor.
I got moves, so what you gonna do? I'm a worm, y'all.
Even gaining some pretty famous admirers. From Saturday Night Live's cast to Adele.
It's the best thing that's happened in the Olympics.
You have to wonder where Ray Gun is right now. Where's that music coming from?
And Jimmy Fallon.
Me? You want me to dance with you? All right, I can do that.
I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics, and I gave my all, truly.
The 36-year-old, who was up against mostly younger competitors, has a PhD in sports culture and did her thesis on breaking. The Australian Olympic Committee defended her place on the team.
I'm honoured to have been a part of the Australian Olympic team.
Ray Gun has been shown some love online as well, including those in the breaking community writing, "We got your back." As for Ray Gun, she says she's off to Europe for some downtime, telling her supporters she appreciates the positivity while also supporting her other Olympic breakdancers.
What the other athletes have achieved has just been phenomenal.
My God, dude. All right, first of all, she's got a PhD in that shit.
A PhD in sports, what was it? Sports science, not sports science, but
are they just giving out doctor's degrees now? Like, is that what's it's like an honorary degree or something?
Her doctorate was in break. That's
her thesis was in breaking.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man!
It's one of them things. It's one of them things, man. If she hadn't have done that, no one would have ever even knew that breakdancing was a part of the Olympics.
Yeah.
So I guess she did. She brought more light to her sport.
Well, if she was smart. If I was her, this is what I would do: is I would start branding immediately. Like I would start making T-shirts and like stickers, and like I would literally just ride with it.
OnlyFans.
Yeah. OnlyFans.
I mean, she could just dance on there. She ain't got to do nothing bad.
Yeah, you ain't got to do nothing bad.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, dude, I'd be like that Hawk Tuah girl, man, that started selling all the hats and shit and stuff. You know, she probably made like a decent chunk of change off that. You know,
I just saw she already way surpassed, but she was like, "Oh, I saw my first million in the bank." Like,
Jesus Christ, man, come on! Like, we actually write and make a lot of what I consider to be pretty good content. So, and then. It's like shoveling shit up hills.
Cute girl from Tennessee talking about sucking a dick. Like, we don't stand a chance.
You can't really match up to that one, dude. But yeah, dude. So that breakdancing that lady did. Oh my god! Like so,
because breakdancing is actually cool. Like
yeah, and it looks hard as fuck.
Yeah,
like some of the stuff,
it's very
like
acrobatic and like you gotta have extreme core strength and all this other crazy stuff.
Yeah,
like,
but like the way she's dancing, like rolling around on the floor, like
it's like a toddler.
Yeah, I got like a fucking autistic nephew that does that shit in his free time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, come on, man.
And she was at the Olympics doing that.
So, I mean, more power to her. I mean, fuck it. You know,
Yeah.
we're not in the fucking Olympics. So,
No,
you know, what the
no,
fuck
I mean,
does that say?
I ain't talking shit about her.
But yeah, man, she definitely, she's like getting a lot of hate, you know.
It's
just
devastating.
Yeah, like all you can do at that point is just own it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be like, oh, you know, just own it, man. Make a brand, make your fucking money, make your million.
Yeah,
and
she
then
needs
call
to
it
get on
good.
TikTok immediately and just start cranking that stuff out.
Yeah.
Because everybody will just share that shit.
Because
She'll
she
make
spun
money.
it right. She could be on like talk shows and all kinds of
Mhm.
stuff, doing like, you know, late night TV and shit like that. But
Did you the first like 10 seconds of that song reminded me of some Star Wars shit. Which going back to the last thing you said about the Last Supper was like the Star Wars deal, like all that stuff ties in, man.
it's like that sketchy bar in the first Star Wars
Like
and New
it was-
Hope.
It's like the Olympics had an underlying Star Wars theme.
Yeah, it's a fucking circus. That's all it is. Like goddamn freak show. Just roll them out. It's a fucking freak show in here. Send your best and brightest.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Or something.
You know? I don't know. Maybe this is all just like publicity stunts to get like
Get our mind off of
get
stuff.
out there and shit. Who knows, man? But it's also the first I've ever heard there's a breaking community, you know, like a breakdancing community. I was like, holy shit.
I mean, that's not too surprising. They got a community for every weirdo thing you can possibly think of. So
yeah, man. It's Australia though, man. I mean, we cover a lot of news from like Sky News in Australia because their sense of humor is
Great.
insane.
Yeah.
Like it is amazing.
they're hilarious.
And they talk so much shit and they're so good at sarcasm that if I was her, I would have been like, nah, I'm not doing this for Australia. Because you know they're just going to shit on you like hardcore to a whole nother level, you know? America's a little more toned down with that stuff, you know?
America's more like, I don't know,
Straight propaganda.
ruthless. Yeah, like
You
just
know?
lies. Like
Just lie.
Yeah.
We just fucking lie to your ass, man. Just lie. You know? You know, they're always fucking lying about shit. I mean, it's come out so many times. Nothing ever happens.
Nothing.
You know, they never redact shit. They never apologize.
Nah,
You know?
New York Times, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whatever. They'll make a story. Lie, get caught. Next day, nothing happened.
I don't even know how they're still making money, man. Honestly. Like, anytime you go to like an article for like, especially the Wall Street Journal, it's just like paywall.
Yeah.
Washington Post, same fucking shit. You know what I mean? You can't get any information out of them. I'm just
Mhm.
like, dude, are you really suffering that much? Like, come on. So, although I heard a rumor that Amazon's for sale now. Did you hear that shit?
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So I heard somebody talk. I haven't looked into it. But,
Although, speaking of that, have you noticed that like I buy more shit online than you do, I know, but like on Amazon, like I have Amazon Prime, I think you do too.
Yeah.
But have you noticed that like whenever you go to buy something, that 2-day shipping is no longer a thing, man. Like
yeah.
it's like I bought a book last week and that shit's supposed to be here Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, which I guess technically that's not Amazon's fault. That's UPS and all the delivery type
Yeah.
shit. But what am I paying for if I ain't getting 2-day delivery service?
Well, my thing is like you were already capable of doing it. So what changed?
I don't know. Do you think it's an influx of actual orders, or do you
No,
think
I
it's
just think-
a
I just think-
degradation of the postal service?
I just think Amazon just doesn't give a fuck.
I don't know, because why would they not want to provide that? Because you already know how terrible they are to their workers.
You already have an account. You already pay for it. It's very convenient to use and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but if
Any
they
competition-
take out the incentive to have it, then why would I have it?
Yeah, but if I want to buy something, I have to go to like other websites and stuff, and it kind of becomes a clusterfuck versus like my shit is saved in Amazon, so I can just bloop bloop and like fuck it, it's gonna take 6 days to get here instead of 2, you know.
True, but I don't like they have no reason to not want to do good. They already hate their work. Like they don't care about their workers. So it's not like how much more can they whip them? Like they're not gonna.
yeah, shit, you know. Jeff Bezos up there.
Yeah,
know?
dude.
Fucking Jeff Bezos.
Like their drivers were peeing in bottles because they weren't allowed to stop.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I wouldn't work
So
in an environment like that. I'd be like, go fuck yourself.
I
You know?
mean, you got to make money, man.
Yeah, I just remember when like I can't remember what state it was. They were trying to unionize like for Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
And Amazon was actively shutting it down.
Mhm.
And they posted a bunch of propaganda. Like I saw pictures. Like if you go to the bathroom, like take a shit, like it would be posted like on the back of the door where you had to read it, and it was just like why unions are bad.
Yeah,
and,
like unions kill babies.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, and it's just Jeff Bezos like fuck,
just pure propaganda stuff. Like has the old iron sickle in the back, like
just slowly working its way into your fucking head,
dude.
you know? Yeah, man. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, in general, I mean, quality has just kind of gone down, you know.
That is true.
In America, at
That
least,
is
you
true.
know. I mean, anything you buy now it's shit. Anything I buy on Amazon, like a tool or something, that's not something I'm gonna have for the rest of my life. You know, it's gonna break.
No, yeah.
You know, it's a piece of shit. So I just think that they came in, they had a good business model. They basically monopolized the fucking market as far as like shipping goes and convenience. And then now they have no incentive to really be better because there's not really any competition.
I mean, I'm playing both sides of the field, man. I use Amazon and Temu.
Yeah, I know you're a big proprietor of Temu,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
And I'm over here, I'm just sketchy as fuck about it. Like, I'm like, fuck Temu, man. That's ran by the Chinese.
Those kids, right? Like,
shit.
help me please on the back of my shirt tags whenever they send it over. I'm like, man, I feel for you, kid, but I got this 10 pairs of socks for $2.99. I can't beat it.
I knew a guy that got a letter like that once.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, I knew a guy in the military that he just ordered it on Amazon. It was popsicle sticks because he had like a bunch of kids and he did a bunch of stuff in his
like
church.
craft stuff or whatever.
So they were going to make some shit or something. So he ordered like a shit ton of like just popsicle sticks,
Mhm.
little wooden ones. And then one of them they found had a shit ton of Chinese written on it. So he posted it online and got it like translated or whatever. And then literally it was just talking about slave labor and help us and like all this other stuff. And he was like, ooh, shit. You know, I think he just threw it in the trash. But you know, like,
I mean,
what are you gonna do?
What can you do? Yeah,
what are you
literally
gonna do?
nothing.
You
Literally,
know?
yeah.
It's
If
fucked
China
up.
found out, they'd kill that kid. So,
But like, maybe I'm just getting older. I don't know. Or maybe since we've been doing the show, who knows? I mean, the people who actively listen to our stuff, like obviously you know our backgrounds. But dude, like the more I see just shit made like overseas, the more I just get pissed off. Like everything I order just says made in China. I was like, why are we doing this, man?
Yeah.
Like I get it. They're like, oh, it's gonna be more expensive to manufacture in the United States. Like, is it? Is it? I don't know. The federal minimum wage hasn't increased in forever, and it's $7.25 an hour. Like, I don't know how much more expensive it really needs to fucking be, you know?
Well, hell, it's like we watched a couple episodes back. They were hiring those people from the Philippines to take orders in New York.
Yeah. I mean, businesses will circumvent. Like they'll do that, and we'll get on to circumvention here in a little bit about some fucking shady shit that's happening.
Shit.
But yeah, they'll circumvent that, and then the big thing, like, you know, especially with like taxes and stuff, like you can't tax a business. It's impossible. Like, I mean, you can tax them and get tax money from them and stuff like that. But the thing is like that burden is just passed on to the consumer.
Yeah.
It's just passed on. And it's been happening for years and years and years, and it just keeps going on or whatever. And then like, especially a lot of the more like left leaning like politicians will be like, oh, you know, we're taxing the billionaires and all this other stuff. And then it's like, no, you're not. You're taxing the people.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the average person is the one who buys that shit.
And they're hidden taxes too, man. And like, I mean, we played the Reagan.
Yes,
it was on.
Was it the shirt or the suit that was like taxed 117 times?
I think he was on. Was he talking to
Letterman? No,
Johnny Carson.
Yeah, Johnny Carson.
And he talks about how his suit was taxed like well over 100 times.
Yeah,
you know, and he was like, yeah, Americans actually pay like over 50% in taxes. Like average Americans pay over 50% in taxes. And he was just talking about how little we have to show
it's like it's divvied up, but it just compounds.
Yes. You know, like 1% here, 5% there, and it just boom, 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 boom. By the time you get it, you're paying fucking 3-4 times the amount of what that actual product is legitimately worth, you know? And so I don't know, but like what kind of gets me is like, you know, if we're talking about, you know, we're paying a tax rate of like, you know, 50, 60% or some shit for the average middle class family, right? Well, you know how everyone shits on like a lot of the programs like overseas for like education and healthcare and stuff, and they're like, that's just more taxes and stuff. Well, the thing is, yeah, like they're in Germany, they're paying like half, like all those countries are paying like 50% in taxes, but it's right out the gate, and they got a VAT tax, a value added tax, and it finances all this stuff, so they have shit to show for it. We do not have shit to show for it. It just gets thrown.
That's because it goes into the pockets of other rich
into the
people.
fucking treasury, man, and they just fucking dole that shit out, and then that's how fucking people in like fucking Ukraine and shit, and like Israel and all these fucking wars and
get
shit
the pallets of money.
Yeah, dude, and then we're over here just getting fucked in our ass, dude. And then
that's exactly right.
As far as like income tax goes and stuff, the United States actually has like historically one of the lowest rates in the entire Western world. It might actually be the lowest, but the fucked up side is they fuck us with all these hidden taxes, which is one thing I kind of liked about when I lived in Germany. was just like in the European Union, like it's a straight 19% tax across the board. There you go, you know? And so, but like I said, you know, their roads don't have potholes. Everyone gets fucking healthcare and everyone gets education and everything's really fucking clean over there, you know? But
yeah, England, and I was pissed at all the taxes, dude. They got taxes on everything. Like,
it's a fine line to fucking walk, man.
Yeah, I will say I felt like England went a little above and beyond on the taxation shit.
Well, like even like Canada, man. Like I like Canada. I don't like Trudeau, but I like Canada, and I love Canadians. They're great people, man. But their taxes over there, especially for artists. Like if I went and did my stand up in Canada, dude, I'm lucky if I come back with half my money.
Damn.
Yeah, they have like a retarded tax for that shit, man. Where like a lot of
entertainment.
Yeah, like where a lot of comedians will not perform in Canada because of it. It's kind of fucking wild to think.
That is.
But yeah, so I don't know what the answer is with that, man. But yeah, man, like Amazon. I don't know. I mean, I've been disappointed in them for years, dude. Just going on shitting on them or whatever. We kind of went out in fucking left field with this one. Went from breakdancing to like tax rates and shit. You know?
Hey, that's what we do.
Yeah, but so I don't know what the right answer is.
I don't know, man. As long as I'm getting my 2-day shipping, I'm happy, dude.
Yeah.
Whenever that's tapped out,
that was a fucking line in the sand, dude.
It, man. Can't do it anymore.
Yeah, man. So. Well, guys, I guess we bring it back full circle. Breakdancing. Yeah, if you ever want to do it, give it a shot, I guess. But
get you a piece of cardboard and start spinning.
Make sure you're actually good, though. Don't go represent your country and suck ass.
In her defense, they put her there.
They did.
So
they did. It says a lot about them, right?
Yeah. Maybe they weren't aware of the sport and what it means.
Mm-hmm. But we're gonna get on to our next topic, which is a American classic of active shooters. We haven't heard one of those in a while. So this next
not since 3 hours ago, I'm sure.
Well, that felt like they were calming down for a while. I really did.
I don't know. Are they, or is it just the media?
Well, I think maybe the Democrats were just like telling all their like sleeper cells like hold off, make it seem like we're actually being effective.
Yeah, but like Kamala's up, like everybody hold back the shootings, like the Trump one failed. Come on, we got it.
The last guy got killed.
Yeah,
Right, let's figure out like what we're doing here, you know. That fucking George Soros money financing that shit. But yeah, man. So I guess there was a shooting at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland out in San Antonio, Texas, man. And for those of you who don't know, that's literally boot camp or basic training for the United States Air Force. And it is a extremely large base. It has a shit ton of contractors that work there.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the people training.
Huge population.
I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of people there, man. Like, it's insane. But I guess some people were trying to shoot up one of the front gates, man. And I don't know. You know, it's a crazy time we're living in with that stuff.
Story tonight, San Antonio police say shots were fired at the main gate of Joint Base San Antonio Lackland in 2 separate incidents early this morning.
Officials with Joint Base San Antonio say the second time their security forces fired back. KENS 5 reporter Mike Jimenez explains.
Someone shot at the gate here at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland not once but twice early Saturday morning, causing military guards to shoot back. Investigators don't know if it was the same shooter. Now they're trying to figure that out. Now, San Antonio police tell us the first shooting happened just after 2 a.m. Officers say someone shot at Air Force security officials working at the main gate of the JBSA Chapman Training Annex. That's at Ray Ellison Boulevard and Medina Base Road on the southwest side. Authorities say security heard several shots fly past them. Police say more armed guards were added at the gate as a precaution. Then 2 hours later, a JBSA official says more shots were fired at the gate at 4:30 a.m. from a car driving by. This time, though, JBSA security fired back.
That prompted a response from our security forces, but there was no threat to the installation beyond that.
JBSA officials tell us no one was injured in either shootings, but the base did close the entrance to the gate for several hours. JBSA officials also say the shooters do not have any connection to the military. San Antonio police say they did find evidence of a shooting where the car was located. Now, 2 things are happening. San Antonio police are investigating this as an aggravated assault, and JBSA is investigating the shooting where security forces fired back. Mike Jimenez, KENS 5.
Damn.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's like, what is the motive, behind that? So,
and I'm curious to like, how do they know that they had no affiliation with the military?
Yeah, like, do they have those guys?
I know that's what it makes you assume that, because how the hell else would they know that?
And was it 2 separate groups of people? Because that's kind of like a odd draw, like a chance right there. Like, you know, like, hey, we're just gonna go shoot up a fucking military base, you know? So I don't know. That's
I guess speculation time. What do you think? What do you think is the case here?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably just a bunch of fucking retards. Honestly.
That's what I think. Honestly, I think it's just some idiots that were firing at the base just for the hell of it, and I find it hard to believe that none of them would have any affiliation with the military.
It could have been like somebody who's disgruntled,
got kicked out or some shit. Yeah,
you know, or somebody who's just fucking had it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like. But we had a shooting incident when I was in. Did I ever tell you about that?
At Lackland?
No. I was when I was in Alaska. I was stationed in Alaska. Yeah, there was someone that was. It was. I'm trying to remember all the details, but essentially, someone was trying to bum rush the gate with their car, and they were driving at really high speeds or whatever, right? And then, so security forces, the military police who guard the base, like at the gate, you know, there's like 3 of them up there or whatever. They just start unloading clips at this car. Like they're just like boom, 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 like right, like 30-round mags and shit, changing them out like it's a Call of Duty Black Ops, you know, like they're taped together and shit.
Yeah, fucking spinning them.
Quick reload, you know. But they missed. Every single bullet. Missed.
Fucking stormtroopers, man.
Yeah, dude, like, that's what it's like, dude. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, and the guy, like, he ended up just stopping and just sitting there, and they arrested him or whatever. But yeah, they didn't. Not a single bullet hit that dude's car.
That is alarming.
I was like, holy shit,
that
dude.
is alarming.
Yeah, there was weird shit that happened at that base all the time, man. And yeah, but yeah, I was like, how do you not hit that fucking car, man?
Well, that ties into what we were talking about earlier off cam, but about the Air Force just now reinstating rifles during basic training.
Yeah, because
which whenever you were in, obviously that was still a thing.
Yeah,
but at like in between that time, which apparently I had no idea, but apparently for the past 10 years at basic training, the Air Force hasn't practiced with rifles or anything.
Yeah, so you're just gonna train a branch of the military, and they're not gonna be familiar with how to use a basic fucking rifle.
Yeah. And then like whenever you deploy or whenever we deployed, like we were issued weapons.
Yeah.
So if you've never handled that and just go,
you go through like an entire class of like whatever weapon you're going.
Yeah,
with
but shit. I mean, it at least helps to have at least like carry the thing for some weeks. Like at least
get a little comfortable with it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's
because a lot of this. I mean, I remember going through it, which I was 18 when I went through, but like I knew a lot of guys there that had never even like handled a firearm. You know, they just lived in states where it was a little more strict. Yeah. And I was like really comfortable. I was like, I'm from Texas, man. Just grew up with guns. Like they don't freak me out at all. Like I'm not worried about it. But you know, I have friends that are like terrified of them. Like, they don't want to see them. They don't want them in the room with them. Like none of that shit. You know, like it's a little overboard in my opinion.
Yeah.
You
know,
like,
it's gonna jump out and get you.
Like you know. But I'm also like really safe with guns too. So because I do have a friend of mine that's had a friend of ours has had multiple accidental discharges. And anytime we're all out shooting, I stand behind the guy. So it's like, you know, I'm not going to share those stories because I think some of them are kind of embarrassing. But you know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about, yes.
I'm not going to be like that dude that Dick Cheney shot in the fucking face.
Yeah, no shit, yeah.
And that guy apologized to him a few days later for being in the way. How much fucking like Dick Cheney had the fear of God in people, dude.
He might, yeah. He knew he was gonna get shot otherwise. Some Alec Baldwin.
I actually like him. I feel like we could use somebody like that again. Yeah. I don't like Dick. I like Dick.
Dick Cheney.
Okay. He got a lot of hate, but I felt like at the time he was an effective fucking person to have in that office, you know. But whatever. It's an unpopular opinion. I know it. Ronald Reagan also happens to be my most favorite president, so I don't have a lot of friends in the political spectrum. Like, you know. But yeah, man, so you got to be an idiot to try to shoot up a military installation, you know, because you're essentially attacking directly attacking the federal government.
Yeah,
and
so that's
they're going to throw they have a limited amount of resources to get your ass, you know. I would not want to be getting interrogated by the feds because I was out one night and was like, oh, let's just shoot off a couple of rounds at a fucking sign. And no.
Yeah.
dude. You're gonna be getting fucking waterboarded in a fucking black site in Poland or some shit. Which we totally definitely
out of a C-130, like
getting waterboarded in a black site in Poland, which we totally definitely don't fucking have. Hey, there's one over there.
It's America, baby. We don't do that stuff.
Yeah, they almost turned it into a fucking actual military base. I think they were going to do an army post. Yeah. It was when back in the day, it was going to be around 2016 to 19, somewhere in that range, when Trump was going at it with the Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, at the time.
Yeah.
And essentially was threatening to shut down all bases in Germany because they weren't really paying their fair share of like NATO dues and stuff like that. Well,
that would have been a fucking fiasco.
Well,
man.
The president of fucking Poland was like, he gave an official statement and he was like, move all of that to Poland. We'll set up this base and all this other stuff. And he's like, and we'll name it post like Donald Trump. Like they wanted to name it after him.
I mean, I like Poland.
Dude, we were all like, please, dude.
Yeah.
Please. Like send us to Poland.
Poland's a cool country.
Dude, because your money becomes 4 times as valuable, like instantly, dude. I was like, I'm gonna be fucking rich. I'm never gonna leave. Let me do this shit. And then obviously it didn't fucking happen. And I was like, fuck. Because Germany's fucking expensive, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Poland's cheap as shit. That,
and they're actually
one of the reasons why I like it over there.
And like that's one thing I liked about like the Polacks. Is that a derogatory term?
I think it's derogatory, but I don't the Polish.
Yeah, the Polish.
But I think
Polacks.
They refer to themselves as Polacks, so
yeah.
I don't know.
But it's just some woke liberal shit.
We're all white. Fuck it.
But
I'm pretty sure I have Polish in me anyways. So whatever.
Probably.
I mean,
go back far enough. We all got a little bit of something in us, right?
We'll mix and match.
We still need to do our 23andMe's,
we
man.
fucking we do.
We need to do that shit, man. So we can actually like publish the results. And dude, let me have some marginalized group of people in me, dude.
1% African.
Give me that. Give me that card. I will print those results and carry that shit in my fucking pocket, dude.
Just have inward pass card.
Just straight up. That's what it should come with if you get it, you know, where it's like 1% or whatever, you know. But yeah, man, like the Poles, man, like, you know, are Polish. I like them, man, because like, dude, they genuinely they like America.
Mm-hmm.
They like Americans and stuff. I mean, we've obviously done a fucking lot for them, and they wouldn't be a country if it wasn't for us.
Yeah, I mean, I like their culture. Their food's fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're cool people. It's cold as shit over there.
I didn't get to go, man. When I was planning on going, fucking COVID hit, and I was like, "You gotta be shitting me, man!" So, and then everything was just shut
I went
down.
to Warsaw, and I went to some like history museum, which I do have to talk shit on their history museum. It was hilarious. It looked like they had like taxidermied animals from like old times, and dude, they were like bad, like made up bullshit, like bug-eyed, crazy looking things. Like it was cool, but I was like, damn, those poor kids, like that is not what that animal looks like.
I think it was I think I heard a story the other day. It was a king of England. I want to say it was Henry VIII. I'm probably getting that wrong. I can't remember entirely. But he had a pet lion, if I remember right, that he was like obsessed with. And anyway, the lion dies, so he wants to get it like taxidermied or whatever, like stuffed or whatever. So they find like the best person in England at the time to do it. And they just send the fucking bones to the guy.
Oh, God.
Like they send the carcass to the guy or whatever. And the guy had never seen a fucking lion.
Of course. Yeah.
So it's just got the hide and just the bones or whatever. So then he like tries to put it back together. Like he's like, what the fuck is this thing? And it comes out all fucked up. Like it's not a lion. And he sends it back. And the king is just like, what the fuck is this?
What have you done?
Yeah, its eyes are like the size of tennis balls and shit and stuff. You know. It's
man.
Yeah, it's a funny
That's
photo.
Awesome. I would love to see what that thing looked like.
It's still in a museum. It's still around, yeah.
That's cool.
You know? Because no one ever seen a fucking lion or whatever. I don't know.
Like, God, all these huge ass bones, like this big pelt. Like, dude, fucking dinosaur thing.
But yeah, man. So, I don't know. Shootings are stupid. We need to stop doing those.
Yeah.
That's we definitely got a problem with those in America, and we sure as shit aren't really doing anything to change it, but anytime soon.
Nah, because you ain't taking my guns away.
Yeah, that's kind of my
that's
attitude
the argument.
with it.
I mean, it sucks when it happens, obviously, but at the same time, I don't know what can be done about it.
Well, because like, you know, like I actually go to college and stuff, so I'll be surrounded by a lot of liberal people that like hate guns and they're like don't think anyone should have them. And I can have that conversation. I'm like, okay, what you're describing is a perfect utopian world.
Yeah, if everyone was nice.
Where violence does not exist and like there is no such thing as corruption within a government. And you don't ever have to worry about it. I was like, but the reality is we don't live in that system.
Yeah.
And then to even bring it down to a more simplistic point of view is there's over 450 million guns that we know about in the United States right now. Okay. That's enough guns for every fucking citizen and then more left over, right? This is also why the Japanese did not invade physically the coast of California. It's like a legit thing. Check it out. But I'm like, okay, if you want to seize them all, do buybacks, whatever the fuck it is. And the problem is the market is so saturated with weapons, you can never get them all off the streets. We're too far deep down the rabbit hole, man. There's no going back.
And it's the same shit as the war on drugs. Bad people are going to get guns. Just anybody that wants to get anything is going to get it. And the good people that aren't allowed to get it are not going to be able to get it. And then they're going to be punished for it later.
Yeah. You know, it's just, now you already have the issue. Now you need to make it as best as possible. Like, how do you do that? You know, and then there's always a bunch of stuff surrounding guns. And I'm pro Second Amendment. You know, I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. Either we have none, like no rules, like we have absolutely no fucking laws with it, or, you know, they're completely like fucking shouldn't exist or whatever. And obviously that's not an option because that's not a realistic scenario.
No.
So now I'm more in the all or nothing fucking category, you know, with this shit. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. But I don't get it. What do you think is causing mass shootings?
I feel like social media plays a big part in it because I think people want to get famous and I think they want their 15 minutes of fame. I think like mental health as a whole is on the decline because people don't have real issues. And again,
they make up
issues. Social media plays a big part in that because everybody else thinks that other people live perfect lives. So then it makes them feel bad about themselves. And it's just one big repeating cycle.
I think news companies have a lot to do with it. Perpetuating it constantly. Like, I get it, freedom of the press, but if you had, all right, fucking thought experiment here, man. What if it was illegal to report news about like shooters? Not the shooting itself, but the shooters.
Where it's like, people?
Yeah, where it's, we don't release their identity. Like it's held in courts or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, if you do it, you're not going to get famous and no one's going to hear what you have to say.
I think that would probably help.
You know? Now, it fucks with some of our laws, like as far as like FOIA requests and what's available to the public from courts and then like media and stuff like that. But I think if you just literally just clip the nuts on that, like, okay, yeah, if you go and do this, whatever, you're going to die. But the thing is no one's going to hear what you have to say. No one's going to know who you are. No one's going to know that you fucking did this.
Yeah.
And so maybe, I don't know. That's just like a fucking random in the moment thought.
And then a lot of it is like,
probably would never work.
They push an agenda because hell, I mean, people get shot every second of every day.
I have a friend that says that shit every day. Like anytime I'd start talking about something, man, I got this shit going on. I'm stressed out. He'd be like, "You be all right, baby. People get shot every day." I mean,
like, that's 100% true, man. So like, I feel like if it fits a narrative that they want to promote or push, then they'll report on that specific shooting. But it's just an average shooting. Nobody cares. Like, no, it's not going to get.
Well, because we've looked into a lot of them where they never made it past local news.
Yeah,
because it didn't fit the mainstream media narrative. You know, which is interesting to say the least. But there's definitely something going on with that. But also, I mean, you talked about like mental health, like with the shootings and stuff. Like, I feel, okay, the issues are real. Everyone, we're so good. Our society is so advanced now, just as a whole, as a human race. They're like, everything can be labeled in categories and you know, identified and diagnosed. Everything. No one person is the same. So some people may just have anger problems. Some people may have jealousy issues or depression and anxiety, and it trickles down, and then it gets like really fucking depth, like, you know, schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, stuff like that. But everyone fits in some category. There's no one that is quote unquote normal.
Yeah.
Right? Because the thing is all these fucking shrinks who have studied all this stuff to publish their dissertations to get their PhDs, they had to present an argument and find something new. So over time, they just analyze the human condition. They're like, okay, we're going to put a label on this. Well, I think that like this generation, maybe our generation a little bit, like we'll say in the last like 50 years, right? It's slowly morphed into becoming acceptable to be a victim and to have something wrong with you and I'm an outlier or something in society versus like, no, dude, you don't have all these crazy issues. You're just sad because your job sucks.
Because life sucks. Right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, change it. Don't fucking tap out, do some fucking horrible shit. You know what I mean? Like, fucking actually make an effort to try to do better, man. And it's fucking baby steps. It's not going to get solved overnight. But that also goes into delayed gratification too, because that's something the fucking generation today currently living doesn't fucking have.
No.
That's why you see so many people not saving their money and investing it. They're like, oh fuck, even like there's no thought on the future. They're just like people dropping out of school, maybe not even going to school, whatever the fuck. Yeah, it's just literally I'm looking for Friday, Saturday night, man. That's all it is. And honestly, the key to success, and I think a lot of happiness, is delayed gratification. You know, like. You can't eat ice cream every single day, man.
Yeah, it's about setting long-term goals, working towards them, and then feeling accomplished when you actually achieve that.
And I think a lot of these like shooters that we see and stuff, whatever their motives may be and their reasons may be, I think a lot of it is a lot of lost and confused young people that feel that they have no purpose. And
I would agree to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And a key is, to find a purpose. And there's a really good book, man. I just want to plug real quick that I read years ago when I was a young man dealing with a bunch of shit. It's a young man. I'm fucking still young. What are you talking about? I'm a young 33. But this book changed my life. But it was written by Viktor Frankl. He was a Holocaust survivor. So he was a Polish psychiatrist before the Holocaust happened.
Oh, okay.
And then he ended up in Dachau and Auschwitz. I mean, I'm not saying
not the best time.
Not saying there's a good concentration camp, but those are two of the worst you could go to, right?
Yeah.
And so, but he ended up living, but he was in there for years, man. And because they found out he was a doctor, so they had like in Auschwitz, they had basically like a hospital wing kind of thing, where they were. When people would get sick or whatever, they would bring them in and they would treat them just enough to keep them alive.
Not let them die.
Yeah, it was just the most sick torture.
It's like torture shit, yeah.
And so he was like, as a psychiatrist, and he's being starved himself while he's doing all this shit. He was actively like having to like coach them like through death and stuff. And it was just, dude, it is a heartbreaking book. And then he even said that like, what's crazy is a lot of the Nazis weren't even bad guys. He said a lot of the doctors, they were doctors first, and they would sneak in medicine and like morphine really and stuff and be like, here. So when people were really bad off, he would just like, they would just give them like a high dose of morphine and put them out and then be like, you're done,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the book is called A Man's Search for Meaning. And it talks about how he went through all these experiences and then he found his purpose in life because he basically had just given up on his God and all of the. I mean, it was just.
Can you blame the man?
But it's about how he got out, he survived, and then he dedicated the rest of his entire life of helping Holocaust survivors deal with the PTSD, the trauma of dealing and coming to terms and finding a purpose in life. And he helped hundreds of people throughout his career. But he wrote this book, and it's all about. Not just a man, but in general, a man's search for meaning as a human being, how to find your purpose in life. And it is a good book, and it is very simple what he comes to terms with, man. And once I realized that, I was like, dude, life is fucking simple, man. Yeah, there's bullshit that happens and stuff that's inconvenience and gets under your skin, but when you find what it is that makes you happy, and you roll with it and that becomes your meaning in life, it's fucking amazing. But essentially what it comes down to is you got two options to find a meaning in life. Is one, you either build something, you create something out of pure passion. So that could be music, that could be carpentry work, that could be anything, you could build fucking houses, you name it, but you create something out of pure passion that consumes you, and that's what you do, right? And the other option is you love something more than yourself. Typically, it's a spouse or a child or something like that, and that becomes your meaning in life. So you have to find one or the other. But it's a really good book, man. I highly recommend. But and to put it all back full circle, man, like people who do things like these shootings and stuff, dude. Even though no one died in this shooting in San Antonio, it's like those people just haven't found like their purpose in life.
And I will say that brings up a good point. Is like I feel like. At some point in your life, you have to have a true struggle or a real hardship to advance and grow as a human. You can't just have everything fucking easy because then you don't have anything to go off of.
Yes.
And I feel like whenever you have nothing, if your life has been easy, you'll live a life that isn't as complete as it could be or as satisfied.
Dude. You got to have bad days and know that there's good days, man.
Exactly.
And so I think that's a lot of the younger generation, even like a part of our generation. I think we're technically millennials, right?
Yeah.
with especially the rise of like the internet, social media, especially that, and like shit like TikTok of all fucking things, which I hate. Glad we stopped using that, but like it's the instant gratification. It's the, oh, these people's lives are better. My life should be like this. Like I should be a millionaire. Like
and all that shit's fake. And
it's not real, man. Yeah. Like those planes that those influencers are taking pictures on, those are rented sets. Mm-hmm. Like they're not even actual fucking planes. Yeah. Half the time, you know, and it's like the cars are rented, you know. It's all a facade, man. You know, it's not fucking real. Don't believe everything you see on goddamn camera. Even though we're actually talking about some real ass shit right now, but like you're literally 99.9% is all bullshit, you know. But I don't know. That's my 2 cents on the shooters, man. But luckily, no one was hurt, man, in San Antonio. But I'm sure those guys, if they caught them, I'm assuming they caught those guys.
It sounds like they did.
They're in for a fucking hell of a ride dealing with the federal government, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was a stupid move.
You want to go on our next topic?
Yeah.
All right. America's second favorite, all-time favorite, nostalgia. Drugs, specifically in this case, methamphetamines. We haven't talked about this stuff in a while.
Not in a while. I missed it. I love talking about it. It's funny.
But you know this story better than me starting out, man. So why don't you tell the masses what went down with this charity or whatever?
Yeah, so this is just an interesting story. It's one of the largest ever busts, and this time, as always, coming through the Mexican border, they got a hold of it, but it was going to a food market. So we'll go ahead and watch the video on this and then dissect it afterwards.
Nice. This is the largest meth seizure we've ever had here in DEA Atlanta, and this is the third largest seizure total DEA-wide of methamphetamine.
DEA Special Agent Robert Murphy says the joint effort resulted in $3 million of meth being taken off the streets.
We received information that led us to a tractor trailer that was coming across the Mexican border. We weren't sure on the destination, and we were able to put it down at a large delivery at the Atlanta Farmers Market.
The 2,300 pounds of meth was hidden in a shipment of celery, which officials say was driven from Mexico to the Atlanta's Farmers Market in Clayton County.
It is the produce terminal for the southeastern United States. And if drugs are moving through there is a possibility for food contamination, and we know that. So it's important that we keep our consumers safe.
Agricultural officials say the entire load of celery that the meth was packed in was destroyed, and now they have a message for the cartel responsible.
To those that want to use agriculture as a means to an end and a cover for criminal activity, you will be caught, you will be prosecuted, and you will go to prison.
That guy driving that truck is never getting out of prison. Like, dude. Holy shit, over a metric ton of methamphetamines. I mean, fuck, I knew as Americans we like to party, but Jesus Christ, you know?
And meth's a white person drug, man. Like,
yeah, it is.
It really is.
I've never known like minority groups to do it.
Neither have I. I mean, I know that they do, I'm sure, but it's definitely on like, it's just statistically a white guy drug.
Yeah, like if I've ever met like a minority group or like, you know, whether it's like black or whatever, it's mostly just like, oh yeah, I tried it once or whatever, something like that. But like the people who actually have
the white people are like, you got any more of that?
Yeah, you know, which says a lot about us, I guess, you know. But well, I mean, I bet meth prices in that region are going to be kind of high here for the foreseeable future, and a little scarce.
I mean, every time I see that, I'm like, okay, they caught one truck. How many of those are coming through? I guarantee, like, it's never just one.
Yeah.
So they could be rolling that shit. That could be coming in once a week. Like, who knows?
Yeah, for sure, man. I've always, I mean, you know me, man, a background in chemistry and, you know, studied at school and everything, but I've always been fascinated by like super labs, especially like clandestine work and stuff, how creative those clandestine chemists get.
Yeah, and without like not having access to chemical A, so they'll be able to make a close whatever. Like,
yeah, and they'll go through like 10, 12 steps to get to wherever they need to or whatever. But the Mexican cartels do it very interestingly. Like, they order a lot of their shit from China.
Mm-hmm.
And so say they're looking for like product C, right, as like a precursor or whatever. Well, they can get product A and B when combined make C. So
that's what they do to fentanyl
now.
now.
C might be illegal, but A and B aren't, and they'll order them and ship them separately.
Yeah, and then that's totally fucking legal.
Yeah. And then the Chinese actually send over chemists in Mexico to train them how to do it and stuff. So not saying it's chemical warfare, but how obvious does a fucking trap need to be for you not to fall into it, you know?
The The war on drugs, man.
Yeah, I've like we've talked about on the show, man. I've always taken a fairly liberal approach with drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking end users. I'm not talking about obviously cartels. Those are horrible organizations that need to be fucking stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. Not cool with China sending killing our people either.
So there's nefarious actors involved, right? That needs to go away. So the only way you really do that is to somewhat legalize it in America and control it and regulate it and stuff. But that'll never happen.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried that even in Oregon. That shit's a failure, and they went back on it. So, I get they had no. Which I mean, it's unfair to say that it cannot work because it does work in other countries.
That's my thing. It's something about American culture. These things don't work here.
But I feel like it is the it's the American people. That is one aspect of it, but it's also part of how they try to either control it or regulate it. Because they just fucking full blown open the gates they were just like, cool, anything you want to do is totally legal now.
There we go.
But
you want to boof some smack in the street?
Yeah,
have fun with
go
it, dude.
for it. But other countries, they would have at least centers to do it, and it was a little more maintained, I guess is the right word.
Yeah.
It was not just a total fucking free for all.
Yeah. Well, so, normally I've never really cared in the past, about, other people that I may see if they do those things, right? I'm like, you know what? It is your own life. I got more of a libertarian aspect with it. But, and I never really minded it, whatever. But something has changed in the last few years with me where I get it. I don't really judge people for using it, but I don't want any of that shit around me.
No, I mean, I don't think you should be allowed to do it in public.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Well, even people.
It's not safe. It's unsanitary. I mean, depending on what you're using, none of that shit's safe.
Yeah. And that's my thing is it's gotten to the point now, 10 years ago, it was a different ball game. Now it is legitimately dangerous. There's active poisons that are being used in this shit.
Yeah, there's more fentanyl in the country that could kill the entire population thousands of times over. So.
And maybe it's just because I work in toxicology and all that stuff, so I'm a little more tuned into it than the average
aware
Joe.
Of how laced the average substance is.
So when I go out with friends or whatever, and someone make a comment I fucking did cocaine or whatever, and it's just I'm like, why don't? That's fucking stupid. I don't want any of that shit around me. I don't want no part in it. And then the laws in Texas are very, very harsh now with fentanyl because we covered that. And if you give, whether you sell or you give or whatever, if you put in possession of another person a substance that has fentanyl in it and they die from a fentanyl overdose, whether it's just you and a friend splitting a bag, whatever it may be, you go down for fucking capital murder.
Which is tough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I don't
tough.
think that's the right approach.
I can't say I agree with that. I mean, if you're...
But that law passed in September, and so now, because sometimes I'll go out with friends, and every now and then there'll be a friend of a friend. I'm not a dick about it, but I'm just I don't get the fuck out of my face with that shit. I don't. I don't want to be around it. I don't want to be associated with any of this shit or whatever. And so sometimes people kind of be like, oh, why are you being a dick about it or whatever? And it's just no, dude, are you?
I don't want to die, and I don't want anyone else to die.
Yeah, I don't want to be a fucking part of a murder.
I don't want to be an accessory to a crime.
And then it's also you guys don't know anything about chemistry at all. And then so if you don't even know chemistry, you definitely don't know fucking pharmacokinetics, how actual compounds affect the fucking physiological system that is being a human being. You don't know any of that shit, man. And then so you're over here just taking someone's fucking word on it.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah, what are you, fucking retarded? And then so I kind of realized the other day, I was like, dude, I'm turning into one of those old fucks when we were in high school or middle school when they were doing DARE and they were like, drugs will kill you. And I'm thinking okay, back then it was kind of bullshit. Now it's actually real.
Yeah. Back then you had some arguments, but now you're you're probably right.
Yeah, but normal things that are safe and stuff like that, I don't have a problem with. If someone smokes weed or they take mushrooms or they microdose mushrooms or something like that, or kratom, it's I don't mind those things or whatever, because in my mind those are relatively reasonable things to escape from the human condition for a little while.
They're very they're not really altered.
Yeah,
typically.
But the dangerous chemicals highly processed from unknown sources that clearly use what I would call poisons. It's what the fuck are you doing here right now? But I don't know, man. Times are changing. In the words of Boris Johnson, when he, as Prime Minister of the UK, when he resigned, them's the breaks. So, you remember that shit?
Yeah, I do remember. Oh man, that was gold.
Them's the breaks. You just fucking abandoned your country. Whatever.
Oh boy.
So, but I just can't state enough. I don't judge people for end user personal choices like that. You know what I mean? It's just something that I've just decided I don't want to fucking be around.
Yeah, personally, I think if you can get it and you want to do it in your own home and you don't have kids, you're not harming anyone or yourself, go for it. I mean, whatever. No skin off my nose. I don't want to pay for your rehab, but other than that, whatever, man.
But since methamphetamines is on the subject,
got another story from another country.
Yeah, this is interesting. What is this? Is New Zealand?
New Zealand.
It's getting lit in New Zealand. Dude, I'm like, holy fuck, man. I don't know. You know more about this one than me.
Are you saying that I know more about methamphetamines? What are you trying to say?
It did sound kind of bad saying that. No,
So
it's a charity, right?
Yeah,
Or
a charity was unknowingly giving out meth.
So they didn't know?
Unknowingly. Yeah. What was the charity name? I don't know. Meth Across America. Yeah, all right. Well, we'll watch the video and let you decide.
A New Zealand charity apologised on Wednesday for distributing dozens of pineapple-flavoured candies found to be laced with potentially deadly amounts of methamphetamine. The Auckland City Mission provides essentials to those in need and first became aware of the issue when some recipients complained about the foul-tasting sweets. The New Zealand Drug Foundation found they contained a potentially lethal 0.1 ounce of the drug. Detective Inspector Glenn Baldwin.
It is vital they are taken out of circulation as soon as possible.
Did he say 0.1?
We are aware of 3 people that have sought medical assistance as a result. None are currently in hospital.
The 3 affected were a child, a teen and a charity worker, police said. The candy was donated by an unknown member of the public and a police investigation has been launched. Police said there was no suggestion of wrongdoing by the charity and they believe the candies were the byproduct of an international drug trafficking operation. In a statement, the Auckland City Mission said it was devastated by the discovery.
Holy shit. 0.1 ounces of meth in each one of those candies. You want to do something really cool real fast?
What's up?
You mind getting on Google fingers and just Googling LD, like capital LD 50, methamphetamines. So this stands for the lethal dose to kill 50% of a population for meth. Whenever they did trials on it and stuff like that, right?
Government's going to love this one.
Yeah. And we'll see if we can find it. So the thing is, like in a standard ounce, it is going to be 28.5 grams, right? So if you go to 0.1,
LD 50, 118.
So okay, so the LD 50 lethal dose to kill 50% of a population of rats whenever they do their test studies and stuff, and that's kind of how they translate it over to humans and stuff. It doesn't mean you will die, but it means you basically got a 50-50 shot of dying when you consume 118.8 milligrams of methamphetamines, right? Now, a lot of other things play into factor. I'm not into pharmacokinetics, so I don't really get into this too much, but like weight and stuff like that, obviously cardiovascular, all this other shit can play, have issues with it or whatever, any pre-existing conditions. But the thing is like in an ounce is 28.5 grams. So if you go 0.1, then that means there's 0.280 or 285 milligrams in one piece of those candies. It is double the LD50 for the methamphetamines. That's fucking dangerous. All I'm saying, man.
So all those times they warned you about trick-or-treating.
Hit you with some math. Yeah. Yeah, trick-or-treat. Because if a child would get that, like especially a young child, they're dead. Like there's no walking away from that, And so then it makes you wonder, like, what the fuck is, like, who manufactured that stuff? Why? I get trying to, like, smuggle stuff. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But,
Yeah, but, like, why were they putting it in?
Yeah. And then, like, if someone's in charge of that operation, how does it accidentally end up in the hands of a charity? Let's say it's a real charity, right? Let's just say the charity was legit. They didn't know.
I feel like the charity was I feel like it was legit.
So if someone's running an operation like that, right? And methamphetamines are a relatively pricey drug, especially when you start talking about like decent quality.
I would assume so in New Zealand.
Yeah, especially in New Zealand because New Zealand because they have very strict laws of importing chemicals, just much like America does. But the problem is also their geographical location.
Yeah.
Which is why cocaine is extremely, extremely expensive in Australia.
Which is why they do meth.
You want to Google how much cocaine costs in Australia? Like, yeah, dude, your search history is gonna be popping up. But my thing is, like, if you're running this illicit operation with methamphetamines being smuggled into candy, how incompetent are you that you just fucking let it hit? Like, it gets out of your control and it ends up in a legitimate charity being passed out on the streets. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, I feel like that was just done by an asshole. That.
Yeah. So who knows? I mean, it could be. So, average price of a gram of cocaine around the world.
Holy shit.
Australia, $263 a gram. America, you're looking at about $60.
When you go back down to Bolivia, $6.
$6. But UAE, man, United Arab Emirates.
Dude, you couldn't pay me to buy coke in UAE.
No.
Dude, you ain't hell no, man. Their drug laws are insane.
Yeah.
If I even seen that shit, I would run.
Which is interesting because the top countries are the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Australia, Japan, which Hong Kong's up there, Algeria, Morocco, honestly. But which is interesting because those are some of the countries that have some of the most strictest drug laws in the world.
Well, that's probably why, dude, because if you want it, you got to pay like a motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's easier to get meth than it is coke. Which is like interesting because like cocaine comes from like the coca plant, right? Like, I mean, it's an alkaloid found in that plant and it's just refined and processed, obviously, to make like cocaine HCl, like, which is powdered cocaine. Well, the thing is, you don't even need the coca plant to actually make cocaine. You can synthesize cocaine without the plant. It's possible, but it's very time consuming. It's a low yield, and it's going to be very, very, very fucking expensive. Like, hella expensive. Like, you know?
Jimmy from the trailer to shake and bake a bottle of meth out of a Gatorade bottle for like $16.
Yeah, like $16. That is between a CVS and Walmart and a hardware store. You can fucking figure it out. Yeah, man. But it's all like Mr. Mackey, drugs are bad. Okay, you know. But the drug game is changing, man, and it's crazy. We've seen how much has evolved just in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
you know, and I've read
mainly
a lot.
The explosion of synthetic shit.
Yeah. You know, and there's like all kinds of weird shit that's not regulated that's out there that you can just buy right now and have literally a metric ton shipped to your house, and it is not fucking screened or checked at all, dude. And it's
you
like,
go in your mom's purse, you take $20, you go to the number 3 bus.
Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
Tells exactly how to buy crack.
Yes.
You go to your mom's purse, you get $20, you take the number 3 bus. Yeah, man. But I don't know. You know, it's a dangerous world out there. There's a good book by Ben Westhoff. It's called Fentanyl Inc. If you want to know, it's about fentanyl, but it covers like a lot of the synthetic drugs and stuff that are emerging, like spice and shit like that. Like kind of when it came out, it kind of explains how these drugs have come to be and how cradle to grave, like how they're made and how they get in the United States and the legalities behind it, and you know what's
and how truly unregulated it is.
Yeah,
like just what, like you don't know what you're getting.
That was what became alarming to me, like when I started studying chemistry, when you start to see like how unregulated chemicals really are. Like final products, highly regulated, but when you start getting back to precursors, maybe like the first step away, it's still going to be highly regulated, maybe a little less, right? But then when you get like 3 or 4 steps away, dude, it's a fucking Wild West, man. So a motivated person with a couple of textbooks and a few months on their hands can get real fucking creative, man. Is all I'm saying. So, but it's definitely opened my fucking eyes. If I ever have fucking kids, I'm gonna be one of those old school fucking dads where I'm like, you better not be doing fucking drugs, you know?
Just be ransacking the sock drawers as soon as they go to school.
Did I ever tell you I thought about, because I have a German, people listening don't know, but I have a German Shepherd, and I thought about training her to sniff out $100 bills. Just hear me out. Like, this is like a fictitious like scenario that is played out in my head many times. So you've heard like how like the majority of like U.S. $100 bills are actually, they have trace amounts of cocaine in them, right? Which is a fact. But anyway, I thought about training my dog to sniff $100 bills with these traces of like cocaine and shit obviously on them, and then like rewarding with treats for her and stuff, and then just start taking her on walks through like fucking truck stops and parking lots, like on major
having her look for like drop boxes and
U.S.
shit.
highways and shit, like we're in major drug trafficking areas, and then when she sniffs on a fucking trunk, just like pop that, steal that bag $1 million and fucking run off with my life. You know, it would never work, but you know, in my head,
to Bolivia.
gonna do? Call the cops? I mean, they might come and kill your whole fucking family and cut your head off, but you know, you got a little bit to get up out of there, you know.
Yeah, hopefully they got enough in that bag. You can get you a nice life set up.